That's some good ass Italian wine. Ciao ragazzi guys, and welcome back to another video. This is Tifosi TV and I'm your host Hotshot, and today we are going to be taking a look at the tactics used by Antonio Conte to beat his student Andrea Pirlo as Inter Milan walked out victors in a 2-0 battle with Juventus in the match that could have serious implications in the race for the Scudetto. Let's go! Both teams needed a win to stay hot on the heels of AC Milan. If Inter won the game, they would be level on points with 40. AC Milan at the time yet have not played. It was a must win for them. Juventus also needed a win to prove that they are still contenders for the Scudetto. Coming into this game, Juventus had the weaker team with injuries to key players such as Paulo Dybala, Matthias de Ligt, Alexandro and Juan Cuadrado out for the game due to injury, while Chiesa and Weston McKennie fought doubts for this game as well, and only one of them started in Chiesa. In the end, it was a fair result for both Inter and Juventus, with Inter having the highest XG in the game, and the XG time map showed that Inter had better quality chances throughout the game. And stats wise, even though Juventus had a little bit of better position than Inter had the better chances. But what tactics did both managers use? Let's find out. Before we get started, if you like this video, a simple like would show your thanks. It helps YouTube push this video out to a bigger and wider audience, and it helps me with the algorithm. And if you like what we do here, which is match reviews, match previews, tactical analysis, team analysis and player analysis and all that good stuff, do consider subscribing and hit the bell notification so that you will never miss another upload. And we also have a podcast called the Tifosi Podcast. You can search wherever you get your podcast from, or I will leave a link in the description down below. So with all that housekeeping out of the way, let's get into the lineups. Inter Milan fielded their 3-5-2 formation with Bastoni, De Vrij and Skriniar being the three-man in the defense. Ashley Young and Achraf Hakimi were the two wingbacks, while Arturo Vidal, Brozovic and Barella constituted that dynamic midfield, while the two strikers up top were Martinez and Romelu Lukaku. Now coming to an injury-ravaged Juventus team fielding their 4-4-2 formation with Frabotta and Danilo, the fullbacks, Chiellini and Bonucci, the two centre-backs. Ramsey was a left mid and Chiesa in the right mid, with Rabiot and Bentancur the two CMs, while the strike force of Ronaldo and Morata led the line. Now let's look at the winners, Inter, and what they did when they were in possession of the ball. Inter typically played the ball short to the centre-backs. However, they weren't afraid to go long sometimes with Handanovic, Bastoni and De Vrij, with Handanovic registering 12 long balls. Bastoni and De Vrij split the width of the box, while Skriniar pushes it up wide and higher up, as well as Achraf Hakimi. Ashley Young did the same on the other side. Vidal and Brozovic were the two pivots, and sometimes they dropped in deep to attract the opposition's two pivots. Sometimes De Vrij acted as a pivot, while Skriniar acted as a second centre back. Juventus tended to press high, but with not as much intensity as seen by their PPDA. Ronaldo and Morata looked to press the two centre-backs, and this made the keeper Handanovic step up to create a 3v2 advantage. If De Vrij and Bastoni are the two centre-backs splitting, Brozovic and Vidal were the two pivots, and they would drop in deep so that Rabiot and Bentancur pushed up to press them, while Ramsey occupied a much different role, pressing Skriniar while also marking the passing lane to Barella. Frabotta would push higher up to take on Hakimi, while Chiesa stepped up to press Young. Higher up, they typically play through their right-hand side and try to use Hakimi and Barella's speed and dribbling ability to target Frabotta. Further up, Juve will defend in a 4-4-1-1, with Morata dropping in deeper to press Brozovic, and Ramsey would look to nullify Barella and Hakimi. In order to combat this, Skriniar will push up as mentioned earlier, and Brozovic will drift in towards the right. Lukaku will also drift in towards the right, and this gives extra passing options for Inter to progress the ball out wide in almost like a diamond shape. This helped in freeing Barella or Hakimi to get free of their markers and to whip in across towards the far post, where Arturo Vidal, Ashley Young, or Lautaro Martinez would be waiting. They also tended to create overloads on the left. This draws Ramsey further inwards as he's a natural CM and left Frabotta isolated. And immediately they would look to switch the play via Ashley Young, Arturo Vidal or Brozovic to isolate Frabotta with either Hakimi or Barella. And this was how the first goal came about. Inter also played through the middle. Inter's two pivots will drop in deep, thereby letting Ramsey or either Bentancur or Rabiot to follow them. This left space behind them and which allowed Barella to occupy that space, or sometimes Lukaku would even come in deep, drawing in Chiellini out. Then either Bastoni or Handanovic or De Vrij will look to play long balls into that space vacated by the two Juve pivots. If Barella was there, he would look to receive the ball and turn, or if Lukaku was there, he would look to receive the ball with his back facing to the goal and try to play either Lautaro or Barella, making in runs. The two pivots in Vidal and Brozovic dropped deep for Barella and Hakimi to exploit, and this was how the second goal came about. Now let's look at what Juve tried to do on the ball and how Inter nullified their attacking threats. Juve looked to play the ball short, with the fullbacks pushing higher up and the centre-backs splitting the width of the box. Rabiot and Bentancur swapped positions, making Rabiot play as a right side and centre mid and look to link up with Chiesa. Bentancur would often be the deepest midfielder and he will draw the attention of Brozovic. Ramsey will tuck in either to form a pivot or to push higher up as a number 10, thereby attracting the attention of Barella. And once this happened, Frabotta has a clear path to attack. And this left Hakimi to push higher up to attack Frabotta whenever he had the ball. Higher up the pitch, Inter sat in a mid to low block with a 5-3-2. They hardly pressed as seen by their PPDA. When playing through the middle, Pirlo always wanted to keep players between the lines of Inter so that they can drop in whenever to receive the ball. Frabotta would often push higher up and played as an auxiliary wing back, and they would sometimes look to work the ball to Frabotta via Ramsey, who would look to whip in a cross. But the majority of Juve's players came through their right hand side. Juventus wanted to isolate Ashley Young, who they saw as a weak point, 1v1 with Chiesa, with Rabiot trying to draw Vidal away from Young by pushing up the pitch, with the striker on that side dropping into the midfield, occupying the centre-backs. But Inter had a contingency plan for him. Young and Vidal would often double up on Chiesa, with Bastoni looking to deal with the runs of Rabiot beyond the defence. Or alternatively, if Rabiot did not make runs, Vidal would stick to him and Bastoni would look to cover for Young if he was beaten. Brozovic would drop in as a cover while De Vrij covered the striker. Since Juventus could not get Ronaldo the ball, he would look to drop in deep or in the wide areas and look to receive the ball for himself. Once he received the ball, he would look to turn and try to beat his man or look to whip in a cross. He was Juventus' highest crosser with 7 crosses. In short, Inter's midfield was key in helping the defense against Juve's attack, with Vidal, Brozovic and Barella all putting in a good shift defensively as well as in the attack. While the plaudits will go to Barella for his goal contributions, the real unsung hero was Marcelo Brozovic, who led the team in tackles and interceptions with 3 each and was the fulcrum of their attack, giving 3 crosses and 7 accurate long balls. However, the man of the match will always be Barella, with 1 goal and 1 assist with 3 key passes and 2 crosses. And that is it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to smash that like button. It goes a long way in helping this channel grow. And do subscribe if you like our content, and hit the bell icon so that you will never miss another upload. And comment down below, what did you think of the game and if there were any other tactics that I missed out. So for now, guys, this is me, Hotshot, signing out. Grazie ragazze.